So Trump apparently has picked this guy, Matt Gaetz, for Attorney General. And people are literally saying that it is a crazy pick. People are, I mean, his other picks have been, controversial, but this guy, Matt Gaetz, for Attorney General, seems to raise some very, very serious concerns among people in the know. Now, if you've been following American politics, you would know more than I do about this guy, Matt Gaetz. I mean, from my vantage point where I am, I've heard his name. I have heard of investigations about him over the years, but I haven't, to be honest with you, been following, politics. I have not followed politics. I've only come back into the game after Biden picked Kamala Harris to replace him on the Democratic ticket. I've really largely avoided this subject matter because it doesn't necessarily, it's not conducive to a peaceful life, frankly, right? So I haven't been following. But even I have heard of this guy, Matt Gaetz, from here, where I am in the world. And I've heard that he was under investigation for sexual misconduct and possible drug use and so on and so forth. Now, I should point out that he denied any wrongdoing and no charges were filed against him by the Congress. But the idea that, you know, someone like this could be the nation's, attorney general, the highest law enforcement position in the United States, is definitely concerning. And I understand fully why everybody has just, it's not even about panic mode. They're imploding. The shivers down their spine is putting it mildly, because this guy's appointment, if he's confirmed by the Senate, would seem to undermine the credibility and the ethical standards that you know that people would expect from the highest law enforcement position in the country. I mean, is there any credibility left? I mean, and with all due respect to Trump, because Trump thinks in a very sort of counterintuitive way, and there are times when I appreciate the way he thinks in some contexts, right? In some contexts, I have always said I've never been someone who hated Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I've never hated him. And his tenure as president, while I thought it was very divisive in many ways, there were times when I agreed with him on some issues, right? And the way he thinks outside of the political sphere, like in business and so on, his think big philosophy and worldview, these are things I've always loved about this individual, right? So it's not that I don't hate him, but I mean, nominating this guy, Matt Gaetz, seems to be, it's a traumatic idea for a lot of people, even Republicans, it seems. And, one of the things that people are concerned about is the lack of independence of this particular person. He has been an outspoken Trumpist, like a Trumper forever. He's a Trump loyalist, in other words. Um, nobody, everybody expects that he will just do Trump's bidding and not necessarily um, to defend, but also to offensively bring actions against Trump's enemies. And traditionally, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is expected to operate without, it's expected to operate independently. Like there shouldn't be political influence either way. It should be objective. There's a certain amount of objectivity that is expected to ensure fairness in the enforcement of law, regardless of whether someone is a Republican, Democrat, Independent, right? And because this man gets is so aligned with Donald Trump, people feel that um, he cannot be impartial, and his appointment really signals that he's going to be a partisan tool, right, to target Trump's political enemies on behalf of Trump. And, it also says something about the way Trump is thinking about his new term, that it's really just going to be payback. But the thing is that this doesn't really surprise me. Um, I don't know why it's surprising people that Trump needed to win. Trump had to win. He said himself, if I don't win, I'm going to be in big trouble. And he really appealed to men to get off the couch and come vote for him because he was going to be in big trouble, right? And, he also made he made no secret of the fact that, he has an enemies list. He has an enemies list. I think one time I heard him say something about going back into the 1700s laws to, exact his revenge on his enemies, using the law, using lawfare on his enemies, right? And it seems that this guy Gaetz is exactly the way he plans to do that. Um, can Gaetz get confirmed by the Senate? I mean, some people are saying that, a Gaetz confirmation by the Senate is slim, especially if the Democrats have any sway. But do do the Democrats have sway at this point? I mean, the House, the Senate, both are Republican controlled. So, if all the Republicans vote for the confirmation, I think this man will be confirmed. And I suspect that the Republicans are going to kowtow to Trump. Nobody is going to want to be on the bad side of Trump in the Congress because they know they're no match for Trump. They know they're no match for Trump.